This is a very strange time for me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm caught up in Gamergate Part 2. This is absolutely hilarious because the first Gamergate, I was just a mere quiet observer and just taking everything in, but not quite fully understanding what the repercussions were going to be much later on. But here we are, back again, all fresh-faced, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and ready for another installment of...
In Advent Children, she has larger eyes and a rounder face, with a remake backlash resulting in some Japanese players to complain that she is long-faced with angular features, going as far to claim that she now looks like a Western man.
White chicks.
Dr. Taylor.
Wait a minute, are you telling me this isn't Dr. Taylor? Guess I have to cancel my 2 o'clock appointment then.
Dubbing some gay art house erotica.
This has to be a mistake! They need a doctor or something! They need help!
Don't worry. There's better for you. And it's right here. Come here. No, I wanted you for so long.
Something's here.
Who is this hero?
Could this really be it?
Jason King on Kung Fu Hot Dog came here to motorboat fun bags and kick ass, and he's all out of titties.
It's a f***ing video game.
So this is Khalif Adams, never heard of this gentleman of dubious sexuality, likes to wear the pink headphones on his award-winning podcast called Spawn on Me over on Twitch, and on episode 511 his special guest was none other than Alyssa I can't work right now, Macante. I mean, this is the picture that we have of her trying to look so punkish. Again, Melissa, what can I say? You got a very dry mouth. Maybe you haven't sucked any dick recently. And of course, why are you shocked at me for saying that? Because by her own admission, she's a bit of a lady of the night, shall we say. There's even a screenshot where she says, I will do that kind of work on the side. Because quite clearly, Kotaku doesn't pay enough. And it's kind of like what Shakespeare says, that truth often passes in humor, something along those lines. But of course now, this apparently is the top clip on the Spawn on Me podcast. Hear what has to be said, and of course, see what I mean about the pink headphones. Oh my God, please.
The bastion of conservative gaming, the bastion of keeping the wokes mad is Stellar Blade right now. Stellar Blade is the game of the year because there's a shiny titty and a almost a medium ass. It's not even a great ass. It's a medium ass. It's not even that big.
It is a medium ass.
Because she got a great ass! And you got your head all the way up it!
This coming from an out-of-shape gay black dude who's obviously never visited a gym. But of course, folks, there's a new kid on the block when it comes to POC gaming. Welcome to Melanin Gamers, the people who are fast-tracking themselves to be alongside those other insufferable dimwits called Black Girl Gamers and Sweet Baby Inc. Melanin is the complex polymer that originates from the acid of triosine. And what does that mean basically? It's what gives you unique eye and skin color. So already just by calling themselves that phrase, that name, I like to call them melon heads. I think that's a more appropriate name to give them. A gaming community promoting diversity and inclusion in the video games industry. I will also come back to that point much later on. If I want to join, how do I join? Does it cost me anything? Melanin Gamers is dedicated to increasing diversity and inclusion in the VG industry, or in this case, VD. It's more than a gaming community. No, it's about infiltration. It's a show of support, a cry for some desperately needed change. Desperately needed change in gaming, really. It's a safe space online because we all need safe spaces, don't we? and in real life community for people of color to come together.
And I'm coming for it, Ken. I'm coming for the fucking money, you piece of shit.
Share ideas and feel represented. So when you were growing up, Melonhead Gamers, and you went to school, are you telling me that your teachers weren't calling you out for your academic achievements? Or maybe you hung around certain friends that bigged you up? Maybe that wasn't enough. Maybe you've got this little fragile complex in your head, like, oh, I need to get some notoriety. I need to be under a spotlight. We want to be seen and heard. So that goes back to what Alyssa Makante was talking to with Khalif Adams about certain under-marginalized or marginalized people in America who apparently are being picked on by the police. So it kind of goes back to that one. So if you want to be seen and heard, I mean, look, you've got melanin, right? We're all made up of melanin. I'm pretty sure your unique skin tone will make you seen anyway. So what's the problem there? It is a necessity in the current climate we are living in, and we believe that by creating this platform, we will be able to strive towards changing an industry so that it reflects all those who are part of it. In other words, push out the white man and the white woman so you can take the space for yourselves. We are not calling for needless tokenism. Yes, you are. You've just said it right there. But a real shift in the tide from the grassroots to the very top. Now, there is an article that Grums had put out on Twitter where he talks about the fact that somebody from Compulsion Studios, that they had hired somebody who had no iota of experience working on a video game. They were just hired for ESG, DEI scores, just get the money, sit down, but has no idea how to even start a video game from scratch. Also, South of Midnight, that Compulsion Studios game, did you know that the black character that we have now was originally white? But guess who came along and told them, you got to change that woman to a young black woman in the Deep South because that's a bit more resonant. Yep, you've guessed it. And that game, by the way, is going to be absolute dog shit. I did do a reaction to that game last year, but it got copyright struck for a blues song in there, which I don't understand, but that's what happened. This is all the makings, all the trappings of indoctrination, of activism, of infiltrating into a space that you now want to claim is actually yours when it's actually everybody's. And I've heard this talk about, well, back in the early noughts, a lot of the gaming folks out there were mainly white men. Now, I would say 80% of that is probably true, but I was also gaming in the late 90s. Now, I would say back then I was an on and off gamer because I was obviously into my music and my movies, but gaming had piqued my interest. I played Sonic the Hedgehog, Streets of Rage, the original version on Sega Dreamcast, I think it was, and so forth. So then when I got into gaming in the early noughts, then things started to liven up for me and I was discovering new things out there, which I absolutely loved. And of course, not until 2006 when Gears of War came out, then I was like, oh my God, wow, this is incredible. But as the person who I watched online had mentioned, and I do agree with this point, that gaming back then was like seen as a hobby, not to be taken seriously. Of course, as gaming has proven over the years, well, in the best years that I can remember, a lot of the storylines were far better than what Hollywood had to offer in TV or film. So again, while I'll say that the majority of people playing were white, that wasn't because it was a demographic thing. It just so happens they were rushing out to get these game consoles and play these really exciting games like Halo, all the other ones I mentioned, Resident Evil, you name them, Manhunt 1 and 2. But of course now, it was a Manhunt 1 and 2. Yeah, I still need to get those actually. But of course now, Melonhead Games have their own YouTube channel. Again, folks, don't go over and bum rush and leave unsavory comments in the sections below, because I think the ratio and the views will speak for themselves. But this is the woman who actually founded She's the CEO. Yeah, apparently this is how CEOs dress. Melanin Gamers, and these are her brothers. And then look at this. I mean, would you go and buy those t-shirts? Would you buy this t-shirt with Kurt Russell? Come on. It's a no-brainer situation. But let's hear this because, oh God, I'm sick and I'm tired of this boring ass narrative.
My siblings, my cousins, my friends, it's something that I feel like connects me. But I got into gaming because I really love a really good story. That's why I got into gaming.
Can you speak up, please? The sound quality on this video is so goddamn awful. I mean, are they sitting on the microphones? Are the mics shoved all the way up their asses so we can barely hear what they're saying?
Like, I'm a really big reader, and I saw that, and when I got into gaming, I was like, there's so many good stories in gaming, and I loved the story aspect of gaming, but I wasn't seeing myself represented, and I was just like...
There we go. She likes the story aspect of gaming, but she didn't see herself being represented. So you're pointing the finger of hate at the video gaming industry for accusing them of being racist because apparently they're not including people like you in their AAA or AA titles. Is that correct? Give me 1 fart for no and 2 for yes. Look, I mean, good grief. I mean, look, they've got the Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. I can't make out what the video... There's a PlayStation 5 games, but I can't make out what they are. Hang on, Melanin. This one's from me to you. Melanin Gaming merchandise. I mean, they're already making merchandise in the hope that people are going to subscribe to their ideology. And I really hope it doesn't work out for them because this is just in the gutter stuff. It really is. I mean, oh, they've got Batman on the left-hand side. I mean, that's Bruce Wayne. He's a white dude. Melanin Gamers, were you happy that Sweet Baby Inc. caused the death of Bruce Wayne in Suicide Squad? Kill the Justice League? I bet you won't say anything about that though, will ya?
Oh, this person's got money, that person's got money. All across the board in terms of films and books as well. And I thought, and other people who I was gaming with, they were...
I'm sure her brothers are actually on drugs at the moment. They're just staring at her thinking, are they really in on this? Are they really believing her narrative? Because if people keep telling me we're not being represented, I don't see myself, then something's completely wrong with you. This is Generation Z. Z is dead, like Pulp Fiction. That quote, that awesome quote from Bruce Willis. Over on Instagram, Melanin Gamers also have their own page. Guess who they're followed by? Chris Kindred, Foreskin, and the Black Girl Gamers. Now, just to make sure, is that still the Black Girl Gamers I think it is? Yep, it is. I thought they were called Black Girl Gamers. Now they've called themselves the Black Girl Gamers, just to avoid any confusion, I suppose. So, yeah, there's obviously that nice alliance, if you like, with Sweet Baby Inc. because Chris Kindred is part of that god-awful organization, Black Girl Gamers. And Melanin Gamers because... you know, we're complex polymers from that acid called tyrosine. God, fucking hell, jeez. It's just, oh, look at that. Spider-Man 2. Wow. Look at their faces on that. I mean, yeah, I mean, the engagement is not great, is it? It's just awful. I mean, nobody gives a rat's ass about any of this. That's, you know what? That's why I'm glad. I am who I am. I like what I like. I like to rub my face in the titties of white women because they bloody love it as well. Rather titillating highlights. Speaking of which... oh, you keep heaving those buzzies, Miss Sydney Sweeney, until I watch your next movie. Help me! Help me! Help me! I'm drowning! I'm drowning! Of course now, Dev Patel, I spoke about this guy a couple of days ago. I was excited about seeing Monkey Man, and then I saw this interview with Jimmy Fallon. And, this is a story, apparently, where at the recent South by Southwest Film Festival, where they showed over 200 titles, Monkey Man got a standing ovation. And Dev Patel, I've got to give him his due, the guy's a good actor, and he almost fooled me when he recounts what happened after that press screening of the movie.
An Indian gentleman, he shook my hand and then he didn't let go, and he goes, I just want to say I'm jealous of my 14-year-old son. And I was like, so that's an odd thing to say, And he goes, I never had someone like you expressed in a movie like this. I didn't have anyone to look up to, and my son does, so I'm deeply grateful. And I'd been crying a lot that day. I think my whole
Oh, I'm crying, dude, with absolute laughter at the moment.
That must mean so much to you,
It was huge. I mean, like, as a kid, I got into cinema watching Bruce Lee, and seeing this man with a similar complexion to me.
I'm not sure if Bruce Lee is a similar complexion to you, Dev. And yeah, this is so bad, isn't it? Why can't Dev Patel just have sat there in front of Jimmy Fallon and said, you know what, Jimmy, I made this action movie. It was a labor of love. It took me 10 years and I just want people to go and enjoy it, have a really great time. But no, apparently an Indian gentleman walked up to him and was crying his eyes out because my 14-year-old son's going to watch a new guy on the big screen. I never had that growing up, which is bullshit because Amitabh Bachchan from Bollywood was a big action star in the 70s and 80s. So how come that guy, that father, is jealous of his 14-year-old son? I think that's bullshit, and I actually call that bullshit and all of this. Also, as for Monkey Man, I was watching a very good guy yesterday, Sean Talks Movies, where he said the problem with Monkey Man, there's only 2 good long fight sequences in there. Everything else is all narrative and filler for the origin of this guy. So when I heard that, I mean, I said mistakenly, well, this has got to be like an Indian John Wick. And apparently some people have been thinking that too because of the way the film is marketed. But in that case now, I'm just going to go back to 2014 and watch John Wick again, because for me, that film is like my favorite out of all 4 of those titles. Is easily the best. And that was how, that's how you reignite the action genre. Get someone like Keanu Reeves, who's done the action before, he's done the comedy. But, as a friend of mine, when he saw the film in America, and he spoke to me afterwards, this is back in 2014, he said, Jace, I saw this Keanu Reeves film and you might like it. And I said, well, what's it about? He goes, well, his dog gets killed and he goes and gets revenge for the people who killed his dog. I'm like, I'm sold. That's it. I'm done. But Dev Patel, you could have just sat there and told me why I should watch the film, not bring in, well, it's about under-marginalized or marginalized people. I hate that. I really do hate it. And why people sit around and they suck up to this narrative, I don't get it. I really don't understand. I must be one of the most sanest people left on the face of the earth. But God, here we go. Now, Black voices in gaming. Oh, look, the ratio in this is pretty good actually, because people are catching up to this bullshit already. They can sniff the shit a mile off. So what do they say here?
Super important that we want folks to understand is like,
have these guys actually ever heard of audio quality on YouTube? It's like the most important thing. I made this mistake myself when I started out, but I soon corrected myself.
Like, how do you get into a game, like becoming a game developer? What was sort of your journey into that sort of thing? Because like, there's tons of folks out here who want to actually become developers, don't know how hard it is to actually build a game.
So you don't know how to become a game developer, but you use your skin tone and you create something like Black Voices in Gaming or Melanin Gamers, all of these things, because you think that's going to give you clout when you walk through the door, because DEI and ESG are guarantees that you're actually going to walk in with no experience, no merit, just the color of your skin. I'm sure that's what Martin Luther King was talking about all those years ago. Forget about the content of your character. It's actually just about the color of your skin that's going to open doors for you. That's not going to happen in a million years.
People don't understand that. It's not easy
at all.
Oh, it's not easy. Oh my God. It's just not easy. It's not easy being me. The power of Black voices. Holy shit. Talk about weaponizing an ideology and it becomes the most cringiest thing ever. But look, guys, Gears of War, Race to E3. This is one of my favorite documentaries regarding the first Gears of War entry. If you haven't seen it, it's about 20 minutes long, and it's how Cliff Bleszinski and Epic Studios were putting together the first Gears game, and there was all this concern about the Lancer chainsaw in it. It's going to be too violent. But, look at this. Gentleman of diversity right here. It's got the dreadlocks. And, you know, oh, look, a black man in the background of diversity. All right, maybe he's not the one to come forward and speak forth. Maybe he's a shy, retiring type, and that's entirely fine. This is 2006, folks, okay? Lots of white folks of the Caucasian persuasion. Nothing wrong with that. That's what the landscape was like then. They obviously saw there was a market for gaming, and they got in there quickly, because a lot of these people, like Tim Sweeney of Epic Games, he was coding in his parents' basement, and then obviously he's gone on to bigger things since that at that point, but he was part of the original Epic Games lineup. Oh, look at that. Cubicles in Microsoft. And men and women are developing Gears of War 1. I mean, I am shocked. Yeah, this is Laura, or Lauren, I think her name is. She was kind of overseeing the development of Gears of War. But look, ladies in the background, gentlemen playtesting the game. So all this talk about, well, we need more diversity, more inclusion. So where is it? Where is it? And look, I'm going to end this video with a midnight launch for Gears of War 3 back in 2011. And I like the look on this guy's face because he just won this amazing chopper, which is incredible.
This is one of the best giveaway bikes we've ever done. That guy was over the moon. I think he was kind of in shock. I'm definitely ready to check out the new weapons, the new characters, and just go crazy.
Now, you see what I like about this guy's response here? He wants to try the new characters and the new weapons. It's not about, well, I'm about to see myself represented, and you know, this is about time, Microsoft and Epic Games, that you put me in your game. You already had people like Lester Spade as the Coltrane in Gears from Gears 1. It's already established. It was already a diverse universe. And the fact this gentleman right here on the left, I'm assuming he's of Hispanic origin, you know, got the Gears 3 t-shirt. And this is something it's sad to say this, but you're never going to get a midnight launch of a video game ever again. Because of people like Sweet Baby Inc., Melonhead Gaming, Black Girl Gamers, they're going to make sure that stuff doesn't happen anymore, because it's their time to shine, apparently. Time to shine without an ounce of talent to back themselves up, except into a corner. And when you got morons like Alyssa Mercante, who sticks up for your causes, you know, the self-proclaimed white knight who's an occasional worker on street sidewalks in New York when the work is drying up, apparently, for Kotaku, then what else do you expect, folks? So on that one, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video today, I know I certainly had a gas making it, even though I had to cringe through many moments of footage, which seems like an eternity to bring this video for you. So if I were you, and if you were me, you should perhaps come back for the next video.
Naturally, you want to spend your time playing with a character that looks like you.
So naturally, if you didn't hear that, you want to play a video game character that looks like you, or like this. Really? Because this is a reinforcing message from not just Homeland Security, but the other woke activists out there like Black Girl Gamers and Sweet Baby Inc. Because white video game characters are apparently so problematic, you now even have people like Danny Lalondas who say we need a landscape of video games where only black characters are the ones you can play if you're a non-whitey. Well, I got news for you, boys and girls. When it comes to representation, I like Jill Valentine, Lara Croft, Claire Redfield, and the beautiful Fiona from Vindictus Defying Fate. Of course, not forgetting you, Eve, from Stellar Blade, because those girls have one thing in common: jiggle physics and butts galore. I don't need to play a video game character that looks like me. I want to play as a video game character that represents what I enjoy most in life. And just like South Korea, that means a healthy dose of beautiful, jiggly, wobbly white women.